everyone, so today I'm going to talk about Mother Red Dark, and it is a Schmincke Horadam watercolor that comes in a tube, and this is a 15 ml tube, and we are going to look at different qualities of the paint. So we're going to do the transparency test, we're going to look at the pigments, the color disperse, and also mixing it with various blues to see what kind of purples we can get, as well as I'm going to mix it with one green to see how much neutralizes it and whether we can get a nice kind of gray tone out of it. Now let's look into what Schmincke says about the Mother Red Dark. So it's color number 354, and first of all it's a series 3, so it's going to be on a pricey side, and that is possibly because they have created this color to be a more light fast color. And then we have obviously 4 stars for the light fastness, and we'll soon find out the previous color that they have worked on to improve, I guess. And then there is also a triangle here, which means staining is a non-staining color, and the line through the center means it's a semi-transparent. So we're going to test that. In terms of pigments, it's a 2-pigment mix, so it's a PV19, so pigment violet, and there is also a pigment red, so it's a PR179. Now let's look into this color, and it says here it's a quinacridone perylene, and it says cool saturated deep red with good transparency, alternative to Mother Lake Deep with better light fastness. So Mother Lake Deep is just above it, right here. So you can see it's slightly more darker in terms of, it's more vivid or more vibrant in terms of the pinkness, and the Mother Lake Deep is a 2 series with 2 stars for the light fastness compared to the 4 stars here. So now let's go ahead and create some of the swatches. Okay, so I've got my water ready and I'm ready to swatch. So here is this beautiful color when it's still in the tube. It's a very beautiful, vibrant, kind of gorgeous pinky, I want to say blush color, but obviously not all of you are into painting faces or dolls, but those of us that are, I think you would love it for that matter. So let's do the basic swatch. Today I have made sure to paint a thicker line to give us maybe a more clear understanding of the watercolor. So I'm just going to start with a very kind of creamy and very saturated mix. As you see, it's beautiful, beautiful color. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to thin it out as we go. So at its most intense, it covers the line slightly, but you always have to wait until the watercolor has dried, because something happens, some sort of magic happens, and then if it is a transparent color, when it dries, what happens is that you don't get to see that lovely, or that sort of covering up of the line, so the line becomes more prominent. So here is the swatch, and I'm going to take it out to the palest. Mason is with us today. Do you want to say hi, Mason?
Hi.
Hi. You've got a lot of fans out there, do you know, Mason?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you can see the beautiful variety of depth of this color. Now I'm going to create a wet kind of patch right here, a wet wash, so we can check out the color disperse. I would imagine it's a beautiful, strong color disperse. Something tells me. Okay, so I'm going to go into this ready mixed color, and it is doing really nicely. It gives some beautiful spidery kind of effects here, which is really pretty. We are going to look at it more closely at the end as well, but I'm just going to show you while the watercolor is still wet how it's behaving. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's pretty transparent, no problems there, and then the spidery kind of veining effect is happening quite beautifully over here. So now I'm going to use the exactly same colors that I used for the previous two, and I'm just going to grab my palette. Okay, so I had to move around a few things and zoom out a little bit so we have everything on view. I'm going to start with the Phthalo Green. So this is my Schmincke Horadam palette, and I'm going to grab the Phthalo Green, which is this one here, and I'm going to mix it with the pink. I think what I'm going to do, just so it's not too long of a video, I'm going to fast forward all of these swatches, and then at the end I'm going to talk to you about it. What I'm going to do is exactly what I've done before. I'm going to mix the two colors in three different strength, going from the darkest to the lightest, and then we will see at the end what the swatches look like. Okay, so I have written out all of the colors so that you can follow. So it's going to be Phthalo Green, Ultramarine Finest, Cerulean Blue hue, Delft Blue, Indigo, and Prussian Blue. So let's start. Okay, so I have dried these swatches, so this is what they look like in the dried state, and very beautiful colors actually. So just to come back quickly to my palette, the madder I had before is the rose madder, and it's a lot more sort of lighter, if that makes sense, and kind of pink, sort of more of a warm toned pink, I'd say, whereas this one is a lot more deeper and has that beautiful kind of sort of almost like a wine color, but not quite. I mean, these are more of a white color swatches. Did I say white? I meant wine. And so anyways, basically this is what it looks like when it's completely dried for the transparency test, so no problems there. Beautiful kind of variation in the strength of the pigment. Color disperse is quite nice. You can see the lovely spidery kind of effects it has. And then when it comes to Phthalo Green, it did mix a very beautiful kind of neutral grey. It kind of almost looks like black on camera. I don't think it's picking up on the intense grey color that this is, but it's a very, very pretty color. The next one is more of a aubergine color, and it's neutralized a little bit too much. And then as I was doing the swatches in favor of madder red dark, as in adding the color more as I went down the swatch line, then you know you get more pink obviously towards the end, and it's still quite neutralized here, but the pink is starting to come through a little bit better. With the Ultramarine Finest, it's a beautiful purple right here. I hope you can see. So no surprise there. Ultramarine is usually quite beautifully mixed with pink colors. And then the next one is still very, very pretty and really gorgeous color towards the end, but the end colors are almost identical with the blues, because it's pretty much most of it is madder red dark anyway, so we should be looking at the first and the secondary mixes as well for the color difference. Now the cerulean blue hue is more of a deep kind of purple. Again, on the camera it almost looks like black, but it's not quite. It's a very deep purple, and the other two colors also very attractive. Then we're going to Delft blue, and that's a very pretty kind of more of a mauve color, I think, towards it's like a violet, like a pinky violet color, I'd say. And then these are also very beautiful. And then we're going to indigo. That is an interesting mix, also quite deep, but not as deep as cerulean blue hue. It seems that one pulled out more of the blue, and this one is going more towards pink. And then moving on to the last one, which is the Prussian blue. I messed up this swatch quite a lot, just because at the end I had not enough of the madder red dark left, and so then I had to add more of the blue. Then it was too purpley, and then I had to add more of the pink. Eventually I got to the right color strength here, but it's very intense as well, very similar to cerulean blue hue. Yes, good boy. And then this is a very pretty color as well. For the purples, I like the first mixes, and for the more kind of intense wine colors, the burgundy, I like the secondary colors, very beautiful. And then of course taking it up to the lighter level, very pretty these colors as well. So very happy to have this color in my palette. I'm trying to see, yeah, so it does look true to real life on the camera, just because when I'm looking up, it doesn't, I don't see it perfectly. So like I said, it's a very useful color to have in your palette, so I'm going to put the links of this color down below if you're interested to add it to your palette. I'm very happy indeed, because with the Rose Madder, which I have here, I would not be able to get such intense colors, and they really are quite stunning if you are after something like this. And like I said, very useful to mix a neutral gray in a very quick way, because you know me, when I need to mix a black, I do the typical thing of yellow, blue and red and try to neutralize the three colors together. But then of course, mixing them, you have to go back and forth to mix a perfect gray now, or close to a black. This is what I'm going to be doing from now onwards. Is super simple, just phthalo green with the Madder red dark. I'm sure some of other pinks would work as well, as long as they are as deep as this one. And that is it. Also, just to say quickly before I go, some of you seem to be quite taken by the pronunciation of the phthalo. I know that some people like to pronounce it as phthalo. That to me sounds completely weird. I'm sorry, I won't be pronouncing it like that. And there was a bit of a debate even amongst my viewers, and someone left a really useful comment that I think on Oxford Dictionary it is shown as phthalo, so you do pronounce the ph as f, and kind of makes sense to me to pronounce it. Otherwise, why do we have these four letters there? Anyway, so you can pronounce it the way you're comfortable with, but you know, I'm not going to be going around people's videos and leaving comments how they should pronounce what. There was one video I watched where the lady pronounced ultramarine as ultramarine, but I would never even think of, you know, taking the time and writing something down to correct someone's pronunciation or whatever, just because, you know, whatever suits them. So thanks for watching. It will be a phthalo for me, and yeah, to the next color swatch next week.